All right, as we do every Monday, win or loss, Aztecs football coach Rocky Long joins us. Rocky, how are you this morning?
I'm all right. How you guys doing?
We are doing well. Thank you so much. Off to a fast week. All right, another season, another regular season has come and gone. How quickly did that thing go?
Well, I mean, for maybe some people it went quickly. It seemed like a long season to me.
What'd you make of the team's performance Saturday night?
I was disappointed in the way we played the first half. I thought that in the second half, I thought our team came out and played as hard and as, excited as they can be and made a heck of a comeback and put us in position to win the game twice. Obviously, we didn't perform in those situations very well, or we would have won the game. But I was proud of the way they fought back in the second half, and that's kind of the way we've been the whole season. And we've won more than we've lost. And when you play that many close games, it's usually a 50-50 deal, and that's what happened.
Rocky, you had success slowing them down offensively in the second half. Is that pretty much all schematics, or do you get on the guys a little bit at halftime?
No, that was a coaching error. I think we went into the game thinking that we had to try to shut them down, shut them out, and we had a scheme that we'd worked on all week that we thought would confuse them, and obviously it confused us more than it confused them. And at halftime, we made some adjustments. We went back to doing some of the things that we've always done, and obviously we played much better on defense in the second half. That gave us a chance to get back in the game and win it.
What kind of adjustments were they? Did you just simplify it so the guys could play faster?
Well, if anybody watched the game, you noticed that we had everybody standing up because we thought we could confuse their protection schemes. And
Right.
We did a couple times, but not enough to disrupt the quarterback. And then he kind of torched us a little bit. We didn't get enough pressure on him, and our DBs didn't play very well. So what we did was we went back to our basic defense in the second half, and we had a couple blitzes and a couple twists and turns in there, but we went back to the stuff we'd been working on in training camp and did what we normally do, and we played much, much better. So that's a coaching error.
Coach, you talk about being in position to win the game twice. John Barron had the opportunity with time running down for that 32-yard field goal. It's his third miss now in 3 games. Any indication of what's going on with the kicking unit?
Well, something's wrong with John. I mean, obviously, he's been in that situation a bunch of times and won a bunch of games for us. In fact, he's done it a couple times this year. I don't know, I'm not a kicker. I don't know the techniques, but obviously he makes them all in practice, so that's just one of those things that a real good player doesn't play well in a certain situation. Now, if you count his career, he had a great year kicking for us, and when he started kicking for us, our kicking game got much, much better, so you can't blame him. But we had a chance to win, and we didn't do it.
Rocky, is there much conversation about where he wants the ball on the kick? I know it was on one of the hashes. Do you ask him, do you want it in the middle of the field? Does he ever come and tell you? Is there any conversation there?
No, because in practice, we practice kicking it from both hash marks. We practice from kicking it from different distances. He's just as accurate as anything, and now, we could have taken one more play and snapped the ball and probably took a knee closer to the middle of the field, which is a question mark. But, we didn't want to take the chance of fumbling the snap. I mean, I've seen that happen in a bunch of games when you're trying to set up a field goal and you're going to take a knee to run out the clock and the snap is messed up, it rolls on the ground, the other team recovers it or something. So we didn't want to take a chance of that happening. So, he was good with where it was. He just didn't kick it very well.
Coach, talk us through the decision to go for 2 in overtime instead of marching out John Barron again.
Well, I mean, John obviously missed that field goal, so that changes your mindset a little bit. And then we went down there and they got the ball first in overtime, and they eventually scored. And I thought that there was a really bad call that we got in that case. It was 3rd and 11. They threw a ball that hit the ground. They called it complete. Even after review, they called it complete. I've watched the TV copy since then. It was not complete. That was an incompleted pass. It would have been 4th and 11, which would have made them decide to go for it or kick a field goal. So I thought that I thought the momentum was in their favor. And then when we went out and scored on the very first play from scrimmage, I thought the momentum was totally in our favor. And I'd seen our offense in practice work on a 2-point play over and over and over again that I thought was a really good 2-point play. So I decided to go for it. Now, I will admit, I've thought about this a lot. I will admit that when we messed up that play, we didn't line up right, which is shocking to me since we practice it so many times in practice. We get a penalty for illegal formation, and then we get bailed out with an interference call. Now, we still went for 2 with a different play, but I probably should have stopped this or taken a delay of game penalty and probably kicked it then. So that was probably a coaching error too.
Coach, any indication, can you give us what was the first play? What was the design going to be? Pass?
Yeah, it's a pass play that's basically a pick play where you slip a back in the backfield and the back was wide open. Now, our running back didn't block the right guy off the edge, and one of our wide receivers lined up in the backfield when he's supposed to line up on the line of scrimmage. And so we didn't execute that play very well. And then when it didn't work, instead of still going for it, I probably should have taken a delay of game penalty and probably kicked it there and gone to a second overtime. So that's a coaching error too.
Rocky, one of the reasons why I thought that I liked you going for it there had to do with Hawaii's offense. They have a very, very potent offense, and it may not be, you may have seen the LSU-Texas A&M game. They went to 7 overtimes. That may not have been the way that you wanted to play it. Did the decision have to go for 2 have to do also with how good their offense is?
Not really, because I thought in the second half we played pretty good defense, and I actually thought especially after watching the TV copy, I actually thought we stopped them in the first overtime period. But no, it was totally a momentum shift. I mean, things were going bad for us. We miss a field goal, they score, and then all of a sudden we get a spark and we score on the very first play from scrimmage. And so all the momentum, they're on their heels. All the momentum is in our favor. So if the momentum's in your favor, you take advantage of the momentum being in your favor. So going for it, I mean, you guys can, and everybody else can question that all they want to. That was the right choice. Now, going for it a second time after we messed it up, now I'm not sure that was the right choice. I probably should have kicked it there.
Rocky Long on Extra 1360. Coach, you're now 6th of 7 bowl-eligible teams in the Mountain West Conference. There's 5 conference locked-in games. Is there concern that you're not going to be able to play in a bowl or you're not going to get selected to a bowl after losing 4 out of the last 5?
Yeah, I think there's a big concern. I mean, when you don't have a guaranteed spot for your team in a bowl game, I think there's a big concern. I'm not sure right now because I haven't looked today, but I think there's 78 spots for bowl-eligible teams. I think there's 82 teams that are bowl-eligible. When you meet the criteria, you wish you get to go. You hope you get to go, but that was in our own hands. I hope we get in a bowl game. I mean, we're sitting here right now evaluating our whole program from top to bottom, including I'm evaluating myself and every coach in our staff and obviously myself. We're evaluating everything we do in our program. And there's obviously things we can do better than we have, and there's obviously things we need to change, and having a bowl game to go to obviously gets us to start that a lot sooner than it would be at spring practice. So I sure hope we get to, and I hope for the seniors that they get to. But having another winning season, I mean, we can go. It's Thanksgiving, it's the end of Thanksgiving weekend. I'm thankful that we had a winning season and we got a chance to go to a bowl game.
Rocky, I was going to say, I don't know how much reflection you've done, although that's exactly what you are doing from top to bottom of the season. But what were just a couple of your biggest takeaways looking back on the regular season now that it's completed?
Well, I thought we played. And everybody asked if this was true. Now that it's all in hindsight, it's interesting with a young team and some injuries. Obviously, we weren't as experienced or as good a football team this year as we have been the last 3 or 4 years. But they still competed and they still fought and they got better as we went. But we did not improve throughout the season as much as we should have. And I don't know why that is. I mean, number one, you got to evaluate yourself and the coaching staff. That's number one. You have to evaluate that. And then you have to evaluate how you're developing your team. Maybe we've lost something over the last couple of years because we've been so successful. Maybe we lost a little bit of an edge. And losing a little bit of an edge, that can be as much as how you handle your off-season program. That can be as much as the disruption of spring practice. We didn't practice where we normally do. I mean, there's all kinds of reasons that could have happened, but the real case scenario is we got to evaluate ourselves. We got to find out how to do things better. We got to coach them better. We got to play better, and we got to be a better football team than we were this year.
Coach, you talk about this period of reflection. What's the timeline like now for the coaching staff? What's the timeline like for the athletes?
Well, right now, they're going to sit around and we're going to just lift weights and run a little bit this week, hoping that we get in a bowl game. And then if we do, we'll get back to practicing. We'll get 2 weeks to practice and go to a bowl game. Other than that, they got to do well in school. It's getting close to finals time. They got to reflect too. I mean, we're having a team meeting today. I'm obviously going to say the exact same things to them that I'm saying to you right now. We got to reflect, and they got to look at themselves individually. Did I work hard enough? Did I want it bad enough? All those kind of things. And if they don't need to be part of our program, and we'll move on to the next season and be much better next year.
Well, Rocky, you talk about being thankful for the season that you did have. We're thankful for you and all of your honesty, as brutal as it may be at times. We really appreciate our time we got to spend with you, and we look forward to more.
I appreciate it being on with you guys. I appreciate you. Keep that energy going.
Will do, Coach. Thanks so
Rocky.
much.
All right, see you.
Okay.